Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 298D. This is a gravity coordinator. This piece of hardware is used to time the closing of a pair of doors and is probably the most common method of coordinating. In terms of the cost, these are relatively inexpensive. They are durable, they're reliable. They're best used in instances where you don't expect any vandalism whatsoever, and you'll very often see these installed in hospitals where you will not really expect someone to reach up to the top of the door and pull on that. This is a gravity coordinator. If you've ever seen one before, it probably looks exactly like this because this design is incredibly generic and is manufactured or imported by many different trim and auxiliary companies, Hager, of course, being a leader in all of that. This is the 7-inch version. That's a reference to the length of the arm naturally, and the length of the arm is directly related to the width of the doors and what you've put on the doors, like astragals, which conspire to require 7-inch or even a 9-inch, the longer one. This is made of cast brass. It has a rubber roller, a nylon cam. They do call it a cam roller, and then a rubber roller. And the door bracket is also made of cast brass. This is in satin chrome finish, and it's available in 4 different finishes. A US 10 for satin bronze, US 10B for oil rub bronze, US26D for satin chrome, US 3 for polished brass. Now, there's a link below this video to a document called Product Catalog. Well, let's go ahead and click on that and take a review. This will have flush bolts and coordinating devices all on this same catalog, and you'll generally see coordinators involved or associated with flush bolts, manual, constant latching, semi-automatic, etc. Automatic. What goes along a lot more with coordinators, however, is going to be a carry bar, which is a very unique piece of hardware that will assist in the proper safe operation of a pair of doors when they open. The other coordinator is the bar style coordinator, and that's the 297D that you can find there along with its 297F filler bar. The mounting brackets are very common because if you study that filler bar or that bar coordinator, you think to yourself, well, where am I going to attach my parallel arm bracket for my door closer? That's where the mounting bracket comes in. A gravity coordinator is less elegant in the sense that it's a really big piece of hardware that's literally hanging off the header of the door frame on the pull side. A bar coordinator is far more concealed, far less obvious. Probably even has less demands when it comes to maintenance, I would probably say as well. Meaning these rollers wear out. These rubber tips wear out. Fire-rated doors are obligated to be inspected annually, which means the operation has to be inspected, and enough cycles on that gravity coordinator or enough time, this rubber fatigues, this nylon fatigues is the bottom line. So those parts, they are not listed as available separate items from Hager. So be mindful that a bar coordinator may be more elegant and maybe more long-lasting, dependable, and predictable hardware, although it does complicate the installation of other items like weather stripping, like door closer arms, certainly strikes from vertical rod exit devices, obviously surface bolts, anything like that might be an issue. Gravity coordinators are really easy. They allow you to set it and forget it sort of scenario. Now, the 298D is on the very last page of that document, and this is a 7-inch projection. Let's go over the extended description information. It's ANSI certified. It basically means this is certified as a gravity coordinator. It's UL listed. Okay, great. The dimensional properties we're going to go over right now. The base, they have it at 5.5-inch wide. A little closer to 5 3/8 inch and 1/8 tall, a little closer to 15/16. A 7-inch projection, hopefully that's spot on. kind of gauging that there on the camera. I can line that up to make it look like anything I want naturally, but it's definitely 7-inch. Oh, better way to do it. Here we go. Okay, 7-inch. Door bracket, about 1 3/8 wide. Projection from the face of the door, about 2-inch. Height of the door bracket, about 1 inch and, pardon me, about 2.5. They say that you need a minimum of a 2.5-inch rail height, meaning the top rail of the door needs to be at least that to accommodate this bracket. The 4 finishes, the base materials we've discussed. Fasteners, you will get screws for all of this. Nothing special about those. Nothing at all. You're then going to get a door plate. Now this door plate comes into, and we're going to show this on the installation instructions where you use this. It's used on the back side of the door bracket. 1.5 inch, inch and a half wide, 11/16 tall. Projection back about 7/8. Okay. Now here's the important part. They want you to use it with, recommended for use with flush top metal doors only. That's because you're going to have hardware sitting on the top, and you're going to have hardware transiting over the top of the door. So you really do want to be able to have you don't want an inverted top channel. That'll need to be flush. Automatic flush bolts only is what they're talking about with a coordinator, because a coordinator, and I should have said this initially, basically what happens is when you need to have the inactive door close first and then the active door, that's where you would use a coordinator. A common scenario is that you have an inactive door that has an astragal and that you have automatic flush bolts on it, and you have a lock set or an exit device on the active door. You really need to have the inactive door close first, so that when the active door closes, it will not only latch when it gets closed to the inactive door, but the automatic flush bolts in the inactive door will then engage into the header and sill, the header when that active door closes. That's really the common scenario. You don't really see them with manual flush bolts because, you know, closing the inactive door first doesn't really help you if you have to manually latch it. You actually have to open the active door. So that's really where you'll see this. Lock set, automatic flush bolts, exit device, automatic flush bolts. Any other type, you know, if you had a pair of exit devices, which you could, maybe with an astragal, you could also have the need for that carry bar as well. Moving on, gravity arm and door bracket are adjustable on the job for ease of installation. You're just going to install it per the template. Now the 7-inch is going to be used on pair of doors with an astragal on the active door up to 4 foot wide, or with an astragal on the inactive door up to 3 foot 4 wide, or with an astragal on both doors up to 2 foot 10 wide. If your astragal and door sizes exceed that, the 298D is not the proper unit to use. And in fact, I do not see a 9-inch coordinator from Hager, so be mindful. It would be unusual to have an astragal on both doors, although you could. You could have a flat astragal on one door on the pull side, then the push side would have a flat astragal so that they overlap each other. I don't see that often, meaning you've got projecting hardware. You can have an astragal and an edge set like on a pair of wood doors, or you've got an H-style astragal, and then a U-shape. The U-shape isn't adding to the width of the door. The most common scenario, of course, is going to be an astragal on the inactive door up to 3 foot 4 inch wide. That's going to cover your pairs of 3.0 doors where you've got a set of automatic bolts on the inactive door. You want that to literally, this is my active door. This is going to stop my active door from closing out here until my inactive door comes in, pushes this giant lobe up, just like that, and when it opens up, then my active door will close. That's where you're going to see that. Now, installation instructions link, let's look at it. You're going to go over all of the dimensional properties. It's all laid out very clear. You're going to center the unit. You're going to locate the unit from the center line accordingly. The long arm portion is going to be 2.5 inch over from the screw hole to the very center line of the doors. That should give you 2.25 on the balance. Okay. What's most important is that you margin it correctly vertically. You've got these holes that are going to be 7/8 of an inch from your door bracket. Proper dimension over 1 5/16 from the edge of the door. And as I'm studying the rest of this material, you can see where the strike is mortised to the top of the door. What happens in this type of scenario, and by the way, these are reversible. This is going to work for a pair of doors where the right hand reverse is the active. If you needed the other, which is probably most common, you just unthread this, put it up here, flip it over, now it'll be on the bottom side. So the way that this works is when the door is approaching, this strike is mounted to the top of the door. It's going to hit the roller, and it's going to require that the unit turn up. You're going to hit here, get to the roller will slide across until such a point where the active door is open, then the inactive door is open, then at that point this will fall down again, as shown in the bottom of the extended description. And the cross section of what that's all supposed to look like is exactly there. So these two parts are literally going to mount just like that, basically back to back. Okay, giving yourself that plateau. That's why you need a flush top channel, because this is going to secure itself down to the door. Obviously 1 3/4 doors. Okay, 1 in, basically 11/16. Looking at the balance of the installation instructions, you're certainly going to want the header to have been reinforced. Unfortunately, they do not give us machine screws. They give us sheet metal screws for that. Obviously, having it reinforced would still be important, but with a lot of steel and a sheet metal screw, you need to drill and tap that. So I would be strongly suggesting that some screws other than, I showed you the round head screws, the pan head screws, the flat head screws is what they have in mind there, I guess. I wouldn't use those at all. I would drill and tap. I'd get machine screws. I'd probably do a 1024 on that is what I would do, or a 1032 even. Reinforced, drilled and tapped. Same with the door, and if I expected a ton of use and abuse, I would through bolt that door bracket right through the door. The top, I wouldn't expect too much abuse happening on this. I would probably just use the sheet metal screw for that, to install that. The adjustment, what they're saying is, it mentioned adjustability. When you install this with the 2 slotted holes first. Test the operation. Then once you know that it's positioned vertically, put your permanent screw in at the very end. Okay. And the installation instructions give you all of the dimensions, but let's take a look. Do not use the 298 gravity coordinator with flush bolts. Use the 297D coordinator. That'd be the bar style coordinator. The 297C carry bar is needed when installing an astragal. The carry bar will keep the astragal from damage when the inactive door is opened first. Now, a carry bar is not really covered in this scenario, but if you had an inactive door that you could open first, like in a pair of vertical rod exit devices, or a vertical rod exit device on the inactive, and then a rim or a mortise or a vertical rod. You would install the carry bar on the face of the inactive door so that if you hit that first, the carry bar is going to do the job of helping push the active door out with it, not the face of the astragal or the strike plate on the latch bolt. Okay, that's where a carry bar will come in. You don't see them often, but when I see them in a hospital, is where I see those. So a carry bar, if you have the scenario that the active door, that the inactive door is permitted to be opened, not if you have automatic flush bolts. You still can't open that door, but if you had an exit device, you certainly could. Okay, that's where you'd see that. So dimensionally is all that the installation instructions really give you. They talk about an overview, but when you review a gravity coordinator, you immediately start to say to yourself, I see how that is supposed to work. Okay. They talk about the reversing procedure as well. So finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog and other documents that we have saved there in addition to that catalog. Now the name Hager is synonymous, as there is their namesake, with hinges, Hager hinge. However, if you take a tour of the Hager catalog, you'll see that they make everything for the door opening except the door and frame. Hinges, closers, exit devices, lock sets, electrified hardware, signage, ancillary hardware, filler plates, trim and auxiliary hardware, sliding door hardware, weather stripping, on and on and on. A one-stop shop, so to speak. If you're a distributor, you can buy everything from Hager except the door and frame. A lot of distributors like that. A lot of clients that I know, once they get accustomed to using Hager, I find that they're loyal. I sell Hager to someone, they'll ask for it by name a second time. There's no question. The only improvement I would like to see Hager make is that when I order dark bronze weather stripping, that the extrusion doesn't come dusty or scratched. But their technical support people are excellent, responsive, knowledgeable, can get the answer. Their customer service people are seasoned veterans, there's no question. If you have any questions on the Hager, this is their gravity coordinator, the 298D in a satin chrome finish, or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.